This show is brought to you in partnership with UNDP in Botswana.
In 2018, the United Nations Development Programme in Botswana rolled out the UNDP Supplier Development Programme, also known as Sdp. The program is meant to stimulate and strengthen the country's entrepreneurial sector by empowering small to medium enterprises with effective and impactful business practices. A fascinating attribute of the Supply Development Program is the diversity of industries which it caters to. The current number of these stands at 8, ranging from mining, which we're already exploring, all the way to digital/IT. The UNDP Supplier Development Program, which focuses on multiple sectors of the economy, fortifies the participating SMEs' developmental and productive capacity, improves their competitiveness, and connects them to larger markets. The program's focus is on sectors such as mining, health, infrastructure, digital, leather and textiles, and agro-processing, amongst others. Take us back to the formulation of this initiative.
Way back in 2018, as an office, we were trying to understand why the economy was not diversifying. And the conversation kept coming back to small, medium businesses. They were not thriving as they should be. So as UNDP, we started to look, how can we help small, medium enterprises? And we looked around to what other countries are doing where UNDP is supporting. And we came across a model that UNDP is supporting in South America and also in Asia. And the model is about helping the small businesses, which we are calling the suppliers, in two ways. One is provide them with a market, and the market will be provided through encouraging the large companies, we call buyers, to buy from them. So that was the first step, is to have buyers, i.e. large companies, willing to buy from a small medium enterprise. But we said that wasn't enough in itself. We wanted to make sure that we would mentor and support the small businesses, i.e. the suppliers, so that they could supply to the large buyers what they wanted. Now, how do we do that? Already UNDP, through its work in South America and Asia, had developed an intensive course of how to help a small, medium business from A to a Z. So what we did is we recruited business people, consultants here in Botswana, and we trained them on every step of this course, this methodology called the Supplier Development Methodology. And once we had trained them, we now recruited them as consultants, and we allocated them to a small medium enterprise to work as a team with the small medium enterprise together with the buyer, so that whatever the buyer is looking for in terms of a product, the small can deliver in quality and in time. So this relationship of the buyer buying from the small and a consultant mentoring full-time the supplier provided the formula that the small medium enterprises needed in order to just give them that jump start to make sure that they could remain in business, have a viable market, and at the same time know that they had expertise whenever they needed it. So the objective is have small, medium enterprises really the engine of the economy. And that by them, that moving automatically, the output of that or the impact of that is reduction in employment. We also want to make sure, as the objective is, that the products coming on the market are of high quality. We are also, by training the consultants, enhancing their knowledge and skills to be really the go-for people to help in terms of growing businesses. So it's about expanding the knowledge, improving the expertise, improving the products, reducing unemployment, and giving confidence to the small, medium enterprise that they can have a business and it doesn't have to fail after a year or two, that really they can go on knowing that there is that help.
The UNDP Supplier Development Programme is a three-way partnership involving large regional and local firms, here referred to as buyers, local small to medium businesses or suppliers, and UNDP specially trained business consultants. The Chamber of Mines is the coordinating partner to the UNDP Supplier Development Programme. Can you kindly firstly give us a bit of background into that and some of the developments that have occurred in terms of this partnership?
Here in Botswana, when the program started, they wanted to apply it to various sectors. And then one of the sectors that was ready for this program was the mining sector. And therefore, as a mining sector, we agreed to be a coordinating partner into this program. And as a coordinating partner, as Botswana Chamber of Mines, you know, Botswana Chamber of Mines represent the interest of the mining sector. The mining companies and the exploration companies, they are our members. And therefore, we are coordinating and on their behalf, meaning that the benefits that we are looking for is actually for the mining sector or the companies that are doing mining. And therefore, yes, that is how the partnership come in. We have gone into partnership with UNDP to ensure that the training in the mining sector takes place for our local suppliers. With supply development, we are now looking at going above the enterprise development, picking the companies that are critical in supplying the mine, that are locally based. And we take them to train them to be able to perform at a higher level. And the whole thing is based on the fact that you are only as good as your supplier. If your suppliers are good, you are going to perform better. And therefore, we want to uplift the suppliers so that they can perform much better. And we know that as they perform better, our mines will also perform better. And therefore, that is where the supplier development comes in. It's not a program where you go in to see if you can get into the database of a mine. It's not a program that you go in to see if you can supply the mine. Those are taken care of by other enterprise development programs. This one is a program where, as a supplier, you want to improve your logistics, your systems, so that now you can be a bit more efficient than where you are, which at the end of the day, that efficiency will assist the mine to improve its efficiency. The reason why we're critical about efficiency and productivity is that the mining business is getting more expensive, and we have to find ways to mine efficiently. And we are trying now to get support from our suppliers to help us to be more efficient. And this program comes in handy for that.
Okay. Now, you mentioned before how this first phase was figuratively a pilot stage. Looking back on what has been achieved through this first phase, what could you say is the overview of the Chamber of Mines from those results?
The overview, I would say the performance of the companies were overwhelming. They have performed very well, the 42 that we dealt with. I'm just saying it was overwhelming because their order sizes increased maybe 10 times, and they performed. And therefore, it gives us the confidence that, yes, indeed, when you really want capacity building and you invest in capacity building, you'll get the results. And two, some of the mines that were not involved, they've seen how those other companies that have been developed performs. And now they're also excited to come in and join and say, I will also want my suppliers to go through the program so that we can see how the performance can be.
Prime Time Live. Prime Time Live.
As Africa's leading supplier of natural sodium and related products, Botswana Ash has placed itself rather significantly in the mining industry's overall contribution to Botswana's GDP. The success of its operations comes due in part to relationships with and support from suppliers. In today's episode, we've traveled to Sowa Town and numerous other locales, braving the weather to find out how buyer and supplier are intertwined through the UNDP Supplier Development Programme.
When we look for suppliers who will be able to provide us with quality products or quality service, those who will be able to deliver and who will be cost effective. We, as I've indicated, Botash we produce a salt which is food grade. Therefore, we have to adhere to certain standards that are related to quality of the food product. Hence, we need our suppliers to be geared up to working to fulfilling our standards. So we are concentrating on suppliers who meet our specifications, quality products, quality service, price. They have to give us the price that is competitive and cost effective. We are not looking only at price. We are also looking at the total cost of ownership. The suppliers should be able to work with us so that at the end of the day, both parties they can be able to provide service at the most cost-effective price. Before we enrolled in this supply development program as Botash, we had a situation whereby the communication between the supplier and the buyers was not that effective, in that there was no openness. The suppliers were reluctant to come out with their shortfalls. And when we also engaged them, they were not comfortable. But through this program, when they realized that for them to grow, we need to be working and partnering. We have seen a relationship that has grown and actually assisted the suppliers. If we take, for example, we have got a supplier here in Suwa who is doing business of selling tires. In 2019, when we started engaging them, we did business with them worth about 78,000 for the whole year. But as the development program went on, we indicated to them, we showed them our requirements, we told them what we need, our turnaround times, because we are operating 24 hours, and 24-hour operation. So at any given point, we need our equipment to be available. So they need to ensure that they provide the service. Even after hours, they should be able to have backup and be on call out to assist us. The supplier came on board, and as at last year, 2020, there was a great improvement in that. From the 78,000, we ended up doing business with them worth about 800,000. The program, the UNDP program, is adding value to our organization, Botash, in the sense that since we have participated in the program, we are in collaboration with other mining entities, and we are able to benchmark on them and also identify the services that we need here that we have not been able to get. And in so doing, we are also broadening our supplier base and bringing in suppliers who already have an idea as to what is required. So the program is really helpful for Botash at this stage.
Demand. That is a word that pops up frequently in conversations about commodities. Well, in a mining town, one of the biggest demands is that for sufficient and effective tire renewal, repair, and maintenance services. And that is what brings us here to our next supplier.
Revidua Amtran Solutions, trading as Nata Tire Services. We are based in Suwa Town Industrial, Plot 1072. We are a tire services, along where we provide all kinds of services that are related to tires. We similar tire alignment, as you see. We also have wheel balancing. We also have tire fitting. We also have tire patching, and we also sell brand new tires, all sizes and all brands that you can think of. We also sell the battery tsa dikoloi jalo jalo. We are very fortunate for UNDP ba released this program ya bone we were selected by Botash as one of their suppliers, and it really helped us. It'll bring closer to the Botash is our main client in this town. UNDP it recognize more for client go lemoge go tshwantswa itsa ka tsela ntseng jana le jana gore o khone gore o hitelle gore client e nne le that trust mo go wena. And the the market e le gore gone gore client e kgone gore iphuthule ge re tshepe ka di-product tsa rona le tse e leng gore di-service tse e leng gore ba di thoka mo go rona. Ba dirile gore re nne le a very good working relationship le ba Botash in terms of how we do our orders, in terms of how we do le di-payment jalo jalo. Everything has improved since UNDP it's into the picture.
Ke ipotsa ka tsone di-volume tse neng gore la di bona on a daily basis kana tla ke re weekly basis kana ke tsela gore jaaka ebile ke bona gore ha re tsena mo sewana ke lona ba ntlhantlha le bona dipalo tse di ka hetsa letsatsi.
Dipalo tsa rona tota di gola malatsi otlhe di gola malatsi otlhe ka gore re kgaoletse batho mesepele ga ba sa tlhola ba ya kgakala batho ba ne ba tswa ba ya as far as Francistown go a go direla so se tshwana le wheel alignment.
Okay, me ano timele gore le bereka ka yone gone ha ke ntse ke bona banna ba tshwere ka hale ka ha o mongwe a le gone ka ha mo di wheel alignment thing o mongwe a balance sa dikoloi ka kwa a go re bolele ka gone gore le bereka dipalo
re na le bo tire men ba le 3 le technician ya rona yo wane ka le wa receptionist ka.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. But is there a bit of strain as far as working within the size of the workshop? The demand for your services.
Tota ke tsa ke tare for now re santse re siame kana re santse ne re gola. Yeah, but me ala gone ha re tsweletse ra go tlhoka go expanda hale le hale.
Prime time life. Prime time life.
Horizons Investment is located in Francistown. We have one branch. We are specializing in rubber lining, conveyor belt splicing, and corrosion control, sandblasting and painting, supply of mining equipment in different mines. Our main client is Botswana Ash, Lukara Mine, and other mines around the country. Since the Rekopan Leba UNDP, company rona ena a simolla go itemogela gore dio dingwe ne re ntse re sa di dirisente gore UNDP consultant bana ba re tsenya mo trainings tse di harologaneng tse le gore le dirile mo tsa tota gore ga re dire business center. But since that time we have improved and we have even bought some machine to diversify our business, looking at the fact that business area dirang go di mine har ka re lebella yone hela ra gonna le problem yaanong since bona batho ba UNDP ba tsile bana ba lebolela gore kana ha le rana business don't put all your eggs in one basket. Try to diversify into do something which sele gore sa tla thusa business a lona ha go di mine go tswala rena ra heletsa re reka machine o dirang ditela gore re diversify our business. Right now that business it's working. It's because of UNDP consultant. Otherwise, diversify our business. The machine is a machine sandblaster. Sandblaster TP abo irusitse. Ya no te vere sandblaster e busetsa mo seemong sa yone then e be penti e wela mo seemong se siame e nna mo tebogong e siame machine ono connectiwa gona le sandblasting port connecta mo teng that sandblasting port ya boetsentse mothaba mo teng yaanong this air compressor it generates the air gore mothaba kgona go tswa mo pitseng ona le pressure then bo kgona go khobola tshipi o ntsa rusa.
The company, I think it started or it was registered in 2009. But we became fully operational from 2012, from, I'll say extremely humble beginnings. If you look at by then, we had about me and 2 other employees. And from then, we saw a steady increase in terms of the company, portfolio, which we are now currently sitting at plus or minus 25 people. So that on its own has, shown how, where we came from and how much we have grown over time. Basically, as I've indicated before, that we are a startup business. So when we got, when we heard about the Sdp program, we thought, we need people that, or we need experience to be sort of mentored and taken through all the businesses processes that we might not ordinarily have. So I would say the program came through, and we're more than willing to jump into it, because for us it was a learning experience, for us, which we thought, why not?
CASA as an entity has several divisions encompassed under its engineering and mining services, and here to chat a bit more about that with us is the operations manager, Mr. Kabelo. Let's talk about this element here.
This part is CASA Holdings dealing with logistics, transport and logistics. We carry any goods that can be carried by these trucks, the side tippers and the flat decks. We have this kind of trucks, about 11 of them. 3 of them are flat decks. The other one, the flat decks are 4. Then the other trailer is not, it doesn't have a horse. So basically we have 3 complete flat decks.
Okay.
Then the side tippers, they carry about 36 tons. So we carry any sands and anything that can go in, any solid that can go in, like sandish kind of material.
UNDP trained consultants take selected suppliers through 10 months of intensive training, in which they apply a 6-step program meant to surgically correct practices that hold back many small to medium enterprises from thriving.
Sdp methodology is a 6-stage methodology. The first stage is a stage where the relationship is being formalized. The UNDP introduces the program to the buyer and to the supplier. The buyer is basically the customer that is being served by the supplier, and the supplier is the supplier. Stage 2 is a diagnostic stage where the problems between the suppliers and the buyers are diagnosed. The companies that get enrolled on the Sdp program, they are enrolled because they are suppliers to this buyer, they are existing suppliers, and there's been issues that have been identified between the supplier and the buyer. And therefore the stage 2 is a stage where now the reasons for the problems that have been identified are looked at, and then after the reasons have been identified, a improvement plan is identified and implemented. After it has been implemented, then we look at whether the implementation has been successful, whether those problems have been ironed out, and if the problems have been ironed out, it means the program has been successful. And after implementation, we look at whether now the company can replicate the same program with its other suppliers. So that is, in essence, the process that the company goes through.
The most common issues are lack of transparency. From the supplier's perspective, they complain of lack of transparency in the bidding processes, late payments, and yeah, basically those are the most common problems. Some complain that they're having to compete with foreign suppliers, which they find it difficult to do, because some of these foreign suppliers are very big companies. Yeah, so those are some of the main problems that that we come across from the supplier's perspective. From the buyer complains of poor quality of service, poor service delivery, completion of projects late, and basically sometimes the buyers think that a lot of suppliers don't have the capability or capacity to do some of the projects.
Prime Time Life.
This show was brought to you in partnership with UNDP in Botswana.